Anand Rajavan, Dean Academics SVVV, and Dr. T.K. Mandal, Professor SVSM SVVV. We are really honored with the presence of our eminent speakers today, and I'm sure this session is going to be a very knowledgeable one and fruitful one. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce the first speakers of today's session, Amita Nichavan. Ms. Amita Nichavan is a seasoned HR professional with over 1.5 decades of experience across multiple industries and cultures. Her career growth includes stints with diverse sectors like manufacturing, aviation, real estate. Over her career span of 15 years, she has exposure in variety of HR roles ranging from business partnering, performance management, post-implementation, talent acquisition, organizational design and effectiveness, talent management and development, organizational transformation and HR integration in M&A. She believes that mantra to success in life is to embrace cycle of learn, unlearn, relearn, fail, adapt, and move forward. She has been awarded as Top 35 TA Pi Young HR Leader 2022 in India by Economic Times. She has been awarded as Best Use of Tech in HR by UBS Forum Private Limited. She has also been awarded Global HR Excellence Award as Women Leader by World HRD Congress and ET Now. Ma'am, we are thankful to you for accepting our invitation and being part of this occasion. I am feeling great pleasure to introduce the next speaker for today's session, Swami Atma Shraddhanandji. Swami Atma Shraddhanandji is a monk of Ramakrishna Mission founded by Swami Vivekanand at Belur Math near Kolkata. Swamiji joined as a monastic member of Ramakrishna Mission in 1989 at its Bangalore center and received his final sannyasa vows in 1999. He has edited, translated, and authored a couple of books on spiritual life, Indian culture, and higher values. For 12 years, he was also the guide for the Vivekanand Study Center at IIT Madras. For about 12 years, he was one of the monastic instructors at Monastic Professionals Training Center at Ramakrishna Math. He has been serving as Secretary of Ramakrishna Mission Ashram, Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh since October 2019. He conducts a weekly meditation and reading session for students at IIT Kanpur every Saturday. We are looking forward to listen to Swamiji. Now, the third speaker for today's session is Dr. Piyush Nayak. Dr. Piyush Nayak is currently Associate Director in Talent Insights, Sourcing and Early Careers at Enalet India, Bangalore. His doctorate in management studies. As a senior talent practice leader, he has over 14 years of extensive experience in designing and rolling out comprehensive search strategies to recruit employees across levels and from respective candidate pools. He has a successful track record of sourcing candidates through competitive research, industry profile development, networking, campus hiring, direct sourcing, vendors, etc. for product-based and IT companies. He has led teams across multiple functional areas encompassing employer branding, offshoring coaching business leader, people transformation programs, building capability and process excellence to attract, develop, and retain talent. He has worked with IT, life science, financial services, luxury products, and manufacturing sector, and has created a strong employer brand in Hong Kong, China, Japan, Thailand, Singapore, and other ASEAN countries. We welcome our speakers today. Now, I would like to introduce the chairperson for today's session, Dr. Anand Rajawat. Dr. Anand Rajawat is Dean Academic of Sri Vaishnu Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya and Professor and Director of Sri Vaishnu Institute of Information Technology. He has been engaged in teaching, research, training, and consultancy for the last 23 years. Currently, he has been also working as visiting faculty in St. Cloud State University, Minnesota, USA. He has authored and co-authored more than 120 publications. He has been on the panel of reviewers of number of national and international journals. Dr. Anand Rajawat was awarded with Excellence in Academic Award in 2021 and Dronacharya Award by IBM in 2008 and 2009 for development of Best Research Project. Dr. Anand Rajawat has been associated with various professional bodies like Computer Society of India, Indian Society of Internet, ACM, and IEEE. We have with us Dr. T.K. Mandal, sir, as a co-chair for today's session. Dr. T.K. Mandal is currently a professor in management at Sri Vishnu Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore. He is the coordinator for the Institute of Commerce and also heads the Center of Excellence in Happiness Studies at SVVV. His earlier stints includes the position of Vice President in J.K. Pepper, New Delhi, Assistant Vice President HR with Aditya Birla Group, and a faculty member at NITI, Mumbai. Dr. Mandal is alumnus of Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, India, with a BTech and MTech in Industrial Management. He obtained a doctorate from National Institute of Industrial Engineering, Mumbai. Dr. Mandal has published several papers in reputed journals. He was also a panel member of Business Schools ranking by Business and Economy. He is a recipient of Indira Super Achiever Award, 100 Most Talented Global HR Leaders of 2050 by CHRO Asia, 100 Top HR Minds in India in 2018 by World HRD Congress. And this list is too long. So now I hand over this session to Chairperson and Co-Chairperson, Dr. Anand Rajawat, sir, and Dr. T.K. Mandal, sir. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to all. Dr. Upinder Dhar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sri Vishnu Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore. Dr. Santosh Dhar, Rector and Dean, FDSR, SVVV. My colleague, Dr. T.K. Mandal, Chairperson of the session and Professor, School of Management, SVVV, Indore. Mr. Mahendra Pratap Singh Pawar, Director, CRP and Coordinator, Udaan 2023. Mr. Gaurav Srivastav, Co-Coordinator, Udaan 2023. Speakers of the session, Ms. Amitan Nijwan, DGM HR, Oberoi Realty, Mumbai. Mr. Swami Atma Shraddhanandji, Ramakrishna Mission, Kanpur. Dr. Piyush Nayak, Associate Director, HR, Relect, Gurugram. First of all, I would like to welcome all the speakers and participants in second session of Udaan 2023 HR Summit on the theme Humanizing Workplace in the Digital Era. Today's workplace is becoming more efficient thanks to the effective implementation of technology. We live in an era of digital transformation, from marketing and sales to product development and beyond. Technology is fundamentally changing how today's globally distributed mobile workforce get work done. This is enabling new operational efficiencies, faster product development cycle, greater customer intimacy, and a lot of other big benefits for the business. Between new collaboration tools, the incorporation of artificial intelligence, and better platforms for connecting with customers, the way we work has changed greatly over the last couple of decades. As companies look for new ways to stay ahead of industry changes, special attention needs to be directed towards how things like AI can better support administrative objectives rather than carrying out repetitive tasks that can take away beneficial time from the employees. As per the customer view, 67% of business executives believe leveraging AI will amplify human intelligence and allow for more high-level thought, creativity, and decision-making by allowing us to better process and analyze the constant increase of data in today's world. Chatbots. Chatbots are like personal assistant for employees, providing access to information from multiple data sources instantly. Machine learning continuously expands chatbots, knowledge base, driving automation, operational efficiencies, and scalability as the companies grow. So what is the challenge? The challenge is people long regretted regarded as the true source of competitive advantage, have struggled to keep up with the rapid pace of digital transformation. Deloitte reports that many modern employees are exhausted by the demands of digital workplace, which has undermined both business productivity and employee engagement. Humanizing your workplace start with acknowledging the people you work with and do business with. It means taking every opportunity to recognize and honor those who contribute on a daily basis for their efforts and achievements. Recent digital changes have altered the nature of work, the workplace, and the workforce. To thrive, not just survive, companies must take a human centered approach to work and the workplace, putting employee experience at the core of their digital transformation journey. Future work model need to put the employee at the center and design for efficiency and creativity for them. For a successful digital workplace transformation, companies need to humanize technologies, enabling work to flow seamlessly without increasing productivity cost or causing employee fatigue. For that, the major focus area includes personal-based digital workspace, learning while working, integrated business applications, contextual knowledge experiences, humanize automation, humanize unified collaboration tools, and transforming office into brainstorming and ideation centers. For digital transformation initiative to be successful, we need to do a better job of ensuring that our workforce are following us. Several important practical ways to make workplace more human-centric and productive is well mentioned by Dr. Dhar during the inaugural session. Many international innovators such as Apple, Alphabet, Facebook, Amazon, and General Electric are committed to digital humanize and to improving the human experiences through the technology. So, finally, with business tech innovation growing exponentially, it is imperative to prioritize the human at the center of this digital experience, thus empowering the healthy and beneficial integration of technology into our lives. Now, without taking too much time, I request our first speaker, Ms. Amita Nizwan, DGM HR Oberoi Realty Mumbai, to start the session. I also request all the speakers to maintain the time limit, that is 30 minutes for the session. Over to Ms. Amita Nizwan.
Thank you so much. And so as you all know, I'm Amita Nijhavan. I'm from Mumbai, Oberoi Reality. I lead the talent management vertical, HR technology and OD interventions in my organization. To start with, I'm really thankful, firstly, to Shri Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya for inviting me as a speaker in this summit. So, and very humble introduction by Dr. Sheetal. Thank you so much. And not wasting too much of time, I promise it's a post-lunch session, so I'll try to be as crisp as possible. So truly delighted to, be in this group and speak about my thoughts on digitalization of human era. I will try to share my thoughts more practical rather than, sounding more theoretical, because since I'm a HR practitioner, so I'll try to make it more and more, relatable to the practical, things what we are currently doing. So I feel in today's digital era, we all are, strongly connected, in terms of thanks to the power of internet, be it Facebook, be it, WhatsApp, be it Instagram, Chat GPT, etc. All these tools are there readily available. We all are connected. But the thing which we all need to focus on is, are we as humans, connected or getting disconnected more and more because of the digitalization? I feel we should welcome this change, but at the same time, balancing, the human and technology is the key here. Now, studies over the world show that, in today's world, I'm sure each one of you, or either maybe your friends or family members, you must have, or, somebody related to you must have suffered stress, anxiety, panic attacks in the recent past, pandemic, post-pandemic effects, so on and so forth. But so has technology, led to all this? So joy of technology surely has a human price to pay. Digital, of course, has a power to scale up. The tools which we get from the digitalization, I think we should leverage it, to get space for more what is more value adding. However, we should not digitalize all the human processes. So talking about our journey, my organizational journey, of course, pre-pandemic, we were all, paper-based processes, Excel, PowerPoint, this was, mostly used. During the digitalization, we adapted something known as Project Evolve. And the main pillars of this theme was connect, support, and empower. So we digitalize all our HR processes. I'm sure each one of you must be aware on SAP Success Factors. So we use that as a tool and we digitalize all our HR processes, be it recruitment, be it training, everything. However, yes, we did face certain challenges. For example, organization change management, data cleansing, support infrastructure, mobile-enabled HR processes, how people will adapt, because we come from brick and cement company. So how adaptable are people be to this change? We overcome all that. We digitalize all our HR processes. And yeah, we went all digital, everything, all our HR processes were available over a click of a button, mobile enable, so on and so forth. But post pandemic, because we are a construction company, we can't, continue too long, in the hybrid work model, unlike, IT or any other sectors. So we had to get back to work, and when we resumed office, all our employees resumed office, we were standing at a crossroad. So whether we should go ahead with the technology path, continue what we has been digitalized, or is there a time to think back, realign, invent, which processes are to be digitalized and which process are to be, kept as human as possible. So coming purely from practical, experience. So recruitment, for example, why not the application process, scaling up, using the power of scaling up, using LinkedIn and other channels for recruitment. Why not, but at the same time, we also decided the final round of interview, that has to be face-to-face in our office, because in all fairness, for any prospective candidate, any employee, it is fairly, practical to invite him to the office, let him see what the culture of the manager is going to work in future. And hence we try to balance that out. Talking about capability building. So LMS, we have, in Mumbai, I'm sure most of you must have traveled in Mumbai, and traffic is a big issue. A lot of employees spend a lot of, time traveling to and fro at work. So we have mobile enabled LMS, we have all these courses, bite-sized learning courses, which are digitalized. So we decided, and in fact, when we did a survey, we noticed that most of the courses which our employees had undertaken was during the travel time to and fro. So the new concept which is coming, a democratizing, learning. So that we decided to adapt, let people, leverage what is available on the phone, digitalized. But yes, what about the soft skill training? What of the people manager capability building? There's certain thing known as value workshops, wherein we have to drive our values of our organization. For example, I connect, collaboration. So can we do that digitally on some Teams meeting or on some Teams training? The answer was no. So we had to adapt to certain programs. We thought soft skill training and all, we thought let's keep a classroom session, in-person session, let people across our sites and offices gather together, collaborate, build relationship, because that can never be digitalized. Moving on, just before this, it was also shared that chatbots and the other tools, why not use it to answer the routine queries of employees, policy related, intranet, all that can be used. Rather, whatever our HR team, they can focus more on, doing pulse check, because post-pandemic, the emotional well-being, the pulse check, emotional connect was more and more important. So whatever time is being left, after digitalization, we should use in engaging with the employees. So that was our approach. The another aspect which is not connected to, of course, my organization that much, because we have a age group of a mixed generation. We don't have like generation Z, but I was reading a lot of and my other colleagues which I was interacting. So the generation Z, they have, most of them have never been to workplace, because their induction was done online, their joining was done online, their work, their etc. was done online. So the feeling of the emotional connect, the team building, the family aspect, which we all the earlier generations were relating, we saw that that is really not there. We don't see it. And in today's era, where great resignation, quiet quitting, moonlighting, all these things are burning day by burning issues, have a hybrid model in place where they can come back to office. Certain processes can continue to digital, but it is important to bring this generation Z back to office, or certain processes to be humanized. They have to come back, have connect sessions with the employers. For example, performance evaluation. Why can't we have a goal setting mid-year, the capturing of the data in the system? But what we thought is continuous performance management concept, wherein a manager needs to mandatorily have regular check-ins with your employees, a one-on-one connect. Of course, they can use tools to capture and give feedback. That is one part of it. But the connect session, regular connect sessions are very important. And talking about whether digitalization can replace human, this is also a debate which is going on for long now. So answer, I feel that it's no, because a few years back you all will agree that when IVR system, the interactive voice recording system, was introduced, a lot of people predicted that it will be replaced by all consent will be replaced by IVR. But a lot of people will agree with me that we still wait for the female to stop, the auto recording to stop, and somebody, the customer experience person to talk to us, because unless we share a problem with any human being, so we don't feel, satisfied. We have, shared something. So I think that human touch is very much important. So it is critical to note that AI, digitalization can be used as a tool to enhance the process, not as a replacement for human decision making or relationship building. Using digitalization with a human touch is a key to it. So organization that use, so my submission today to this group is that organizations that will use blindly digitalization as a tool for progress without caring about the people are sure to fail. So hence, embracing digital humanism is today's key. To conclude, digitalization, technology, disruptions, all this should be welcome to scale up, get some space to do what really matters, engage with the employees, value, and unleash the human potential. So, thank you so much. I try to make it as crisp as possible because it's an online session, So, yes, we all are using here the power of digitalization. I'm sitting in Mumbai and talking to people in Indore. So, yes, digitalize should be used, but balancing, let's make the technological revolution, more humane revolution as well. So that's my thoughts. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Amita. Ms. Amita nicely covered both sides of the digital transformation. Now I request our second speaker, Swami Atma Shraddhanandji, to start the session. Over to you, Swamiji.
Do we have any introduction, or do we begin with that? Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So is there any introduction to the subject, or do I just begin speaking on that?
You can begin. Then you can start.
Achha. The subject would be to speak on the place of spirituality in today's digital world. Is that so?
Okay, sir.
Right. So, namaste to the audience. I am not able to see anyone, but I hope there is that is the reality of today's digital communication. So this is Swami Atma Shraddhananda. I am speaking from the Ramakrishna Mission. So thank you for the invitation. I'll be sharing some thoughts with you on what is spirituality, particularly in today's perspective, and keeping in view the teachings of Swami Vivekananda and his guru, Sri Ramakrishna. So both of them are quite old in terms of time, more than 100 years, but their wonderful teachings continue to guide and inspire, I would say, millions of people across the world, and they will do so for a long time to come. So I am here to share with you some thoughts on, let's say, education and spirituality and today's modern world. I shall begin with a small prayer. So I take this prayer from the Upanishads. These Upanishads are, those who do not know what Upanishads are, they are the very essence of the Indian spiritual heritage. The Upanishads are also known as Vedanta. So there is one Upanishad called the Chandogya Upanishad, and it is there in this Upanishad that we have this famous prayer. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityurmam ritam gamaya. So the term spirituality, the term that something that we call as something related to a deeper dimension of life, what it is. So before we begin that, let me quote from what Swami Vivekananda said as to what is the purpose of human life and what is the way to achieve that goal. He said that each soul is potentially divine, and the goal is to manifest this divinity by controlling nature, internal and external. Do this either by work or worship or philosophy or psychic control, and be free. This is the whole of religion, whole of spirituality. Temples, dogmas, rituals, they are but secondary details. So keeping this in mind, let us begin now. These are the famous sentences of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was the one who took India's spiritual heritage, India's Indian culture's introduction to the West. I hope most of you know about Swami Vivekananda. So he was the first Indian monk to go to the West, to America, sometimes in 1893. And he spoke there at the World Parliament of Religions, which brought him to the world stage. Now, Swami Vivekananda was born in 1863. And he was born in a very, in those days, a very rich and well-to-do family. And he went to the college, he had his education there. And during that time, he became interested in reading a lot of spiritual literature. In those days, what was available, he read. So he read a lot of Western philosophy. But that brought certain doubt in him. He was not satisfied with what he had read in the intellectual parlance. So he was looking for, in those days, he was Calcutta. So Calcutta was the capital of India. So he was looking for answers, as many youth do, as those who are listening to me here also, many of our youth. So we look for answers to life's problems or life's complexities. And it is then that he came across, that's a very dramatic putting together of the situations. And he reaches Sri Ramakrishna. And he asked Sri Ramakrishna, who was living in a temple in Calcutta. He was the worshipper there, Pujari there. And also he had done enormous sadhanas. So when Swamiji met him, he was 19 years old. So he asked Sri Ramakrishna, "Sir, have you seen God?" To which Sri Ramakrishna replied, "Yes, I have seen God." And not only that, he says, "I see him more clearly than I see you." And he added to that, "But who wants God? People want things from God. They don't want God." So that was the beginning. And their relationship, he being the teacher, he being the, and Swamiji being the disciple, continued for next 4 or 5 years. Then in 1886, after his passing away of his teacher, Swamiji formally left home and he took to monastic vows and began traveling throughout India. There was no set agenda as to where he has to go. He started from Kolkata and went to, Kashi, then Delhi, Mathura, then to Himalayas, down to Rajasthan, or further Maharashtra, Gujarat, and finally he reached the Kanyakumari, which is in the southernmost, near where the 3 seas meet. I hope some of you have been to Kanyakumari. If you haven't been, please do visit Kanyakumari. It is there that sitting on the last rock in Kanyakumari, that Swami Vivekananda, he sat there for about 3 days meditating, that he was transformed. He was a monk moving around as a parivrajik sadhu. Then he decided to come over and do some service. He said, "I must take care of my country. I take care of the people. Which way I can serve them?" And that is how Swami Vivekananda, supported by his disciples and students in Madras and later elsewhere, he took the ship to America. So Swamiji went to America in 1893 to take part in the World Parliament of Religions there. It is during this visit that he also met J.R.D. Tata, Jamshedji Tata. So Jamshedji was deeply impressed with Swamiji, and it is at his instance, Swami Vivekananda's visionary ideas about India, that Jamshedji later started Indian Institute of Sciences in Bangalore. Those of you who haven't been to that institute must see. It's a premier institute spread over almost 450 acres of land. The inspiration comes from Swami Vivekananda. And later when Swamiji went to Chicago, he faced a lot of issues there, a lot of difficulties, because he was the first monk to go there. But when he spoke at Chicago Parliament of Religions, he began his talk by famous words. He said that sisters and brothers of America. Now that was a short talk, but the moment Swamiji said that, it was like an electric current passing through them. And all of them got up and clapped for about two full minutes. And that was the beginning of Swamiji's preaching work in America. He spent 4 years there, traveled over 100 cities, more than 100 cities, carrying the message of India. Now it's sitting in 2023, and we are talking about something that happened in 1893 to 1897. It's difficult for many of us to catch up. But let us try to understand. It's an important part of our history, which is still giving us so much of inspiration. So what Swamiji spoke there was something which we require in India also. What Swamiji said there was, essentially his message was this, that man is essentially divine. We are not sinners, we are not bad, we are not something essentially wrong. We are all essentially divine. So when we are speaking of spirituality, actually we are speaking of the divinity within us. we think we have our difficulties, we have our weaknesses, and so we think we are what our difficulties and our weaknesses are. It's not so. We are something more than that. All of us have got that divine potential in us, and Swami Vivekananda spoke about it in his Parliament of Religion, which was a historic event. More than 4,000 people from across America had gathered to hear him, to be part of that World Parliament of Religions. And they were so deeply impressed. One of the professors, Henry Wright, he had written in one letter to the president of the committee which was organizing that. He said that here is a man who is more learned than all our professors in America put together. That's how he introduced Swami Vivekananda. So Swami Vivekananda spoke of this divinity of man and the oneness of existence. And today, we are so many years away. We must still remember that this message is the message that we all require. Years ago, maybe around 40 years back, a book came up in America by Ilenia Stark. She's a school leader, a school teacher. She said, Swami Vivekananda's message is like a gift unopened to us. A gift that was made to us in America years ago. It has remained not fully utilized. It's like a gift, somebody gives you something and you keep it. So same way, I think we in India need to open the gift, which is Swami Vivekananda's teachings. So I'll come to his teachings and its practical relevance a little later. Let me say a few more things with you. Now, Swami Vivekananda returned to India in 1897. So he lived for another 5 years. He passed away in 1902. But in these 5 years, he was so intensely busy. When he came to India, he was given a royal welcome by the Indians there. Across India, there were big meetings, and that was a time when India was under the British. We were the colony, a British colony. Of course, the crown of British colonial setup, and we were given a. Swamiji was even driven by the Rajas of those days, and he came to southern India, to Rameshwaram. And through the various cities of South India, he finally reached Madras, and where he gave 3 or 4 lectures. And these lectures are remarkable lectures. Some of these lectures were, later made into a book. Later on, Swamiji went to Calcutta also, Almora also, even Lahore also. And all of them have been collected and made into a small book. That book is called Swami Vivekananda's Indian Lectures. Just as he gave lectures in America, and they are known as the 4 yogas and different, they're in total, several volumes. But in India, what he gave, that became the guiding light for Indians. How many people who were were fighting for India's freedom, they read Swami Vivekananda's teachings. Even like Mahatma Gandhi read them, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose read it, and numerous others like Aurobindo Ghosh, Lokmanya Tilak, they all felt deeply inspired by Swami Vivekananda's teachings. So then in same year, in 1897, Swamiji also founded the Ramakrishna Mission. It's an organization. I'm part of that. It is a worldwide organization. We have over 250 centers. There's one center in Indore also, near Kila Medan. And there is also our headquarters is in Belur Math, and we have a center in almost all major cities in India, and around 25 countries across the world. Now, this whole thing started with Swami Vivekananda's inspiration. It is he who founded the Ramakrishna Mission, and now the Ramakrishna Mission has completed 125 years. Now, coming to this, in 1902, he passed away in Belur Math, that is on the banks of Ganga near Kolkata. Now, coming to Swami Vivekananda's teachings and our subject of what is spirituality in today's digital world. So we have kept this as a background, what I just told you. And now if you keep in mind that in the beginning, which I said, that each soul is potentially divine. This is the one thing which you have to remember. What we as human beings want. What are we? What is a human being? You have a biological understanding of man, first of all. Each one of us is a biological unit. A man or a woman having certain height and a certain weight and complexion and genes, certain inclinations and a lifespan. All that is our physical world, a physical side of our personality. And then we also have a mental dimension. We also have what we call as the buddhi in us. We have the mental dimension, like we have the a place where all our memories are stored, where we decide, where we think what we should do in life, where desires are there. Where are the desires? Are they in some part of the body? No, they say they're all part of the what we call as a subtle body in us, or our mind in us. So this is the dimension we all have about ourselves. We are a body and we are a mind. We are a combination of the two. But this is where Swami Vivekananda warned us. He said, no, you are not just body and mind. There is a third dimension in you, which is the basis of these two dimensions. And that third dimension is called your spiritual dimension. Just now, before this lecture, I was listening to somebody speaking about the human side of the digital revolution. So these human values, that's a question I'm asking. The human values that we have, where do they originate from? Where do we get our values from? So we want to be honest, we want to be kind, we want to be truthful. There is a feeling for others, there's sympathy, there is help, as opposed to violence, as opposed to selfishness, as opposed to other things in our constant world into which we are living. So where do we come from? According to Swami Vivekananda, the source of our this kind of word that we are speaking of, that is because we have to go deeper and we have to find it there. It is a divinity present in all of us. The divinity which is the very source of our being. So what is this divinity? I am referring to it a number of times, that there's divinity within us. So each one of us, wants to live. None of us actually can ever think of that we are no longer there. We are all there. None of us can think that we are non-existent. We are existent. So what is that eternal feeling in us? What is the feeling of we cannot die, and we cannot be just powerless. And we are eternal, but we cannot be at the same time. We cannot say that we are powerless. We don't have any knowledge, and similarly we don't want to be unhappy. So these three things, that is existence, knowledge, and the desire for eternal joy within us, that represents our divine nature actually. So how do we manifest this divine nature in us? That's the point which Swami Vivekananda referred to as the divinity is. Now, I will take this further and try to make it clear to you that when Swami Vivekananda speaks of the place of divinity or place of spirituality in life, may I request somebody who is recording, could you switch off your screen? Hello, could you switch off your screen? Yes. Either I am visible or the audience is visible. Is it possible?
Even the audience can switch off this
Yeah.
cameras.
Yes, that should be okay. That should be okay.
So let's
Because
all
somebody-
switch off our cameras, but we will be able to see you, Swamiji. That's okay.
fine.
Okay.
Now it's okay. Now it's okay. Because the gentleman has to attend to his duties. So that's too distracting.
Oh,
So let me return to where we left. That speaking of the divinity within us. Now, we referred in the beginning that Swami Vivekananda spoke of that each soul is potentially divine. Now let us think of it. How do we manifest this divinity in us? He says, do it either through work or worship or philosophy or psychic control. Now these three or four things refer to what we generally know in our day-to-day life. For instance, we all work. We all have work. We have action, activity. We call it as karma, krita, karma. So Swami Vivekananda says that you can manifest your divinity through karma, which means through karma yoga. The word yoga should not be restricted to mean only that which is, we know certain yogasanas, which is wonderful, which is very helpful in keeping good health. But to say that yoga only means that is to actually not understand what really yoga is.
Rupa madam, kindly switch off your mic, please.
I find talk happening, so there is difficulty in communicating. Should I continue? Yes. So there is also this idea that we have yoga, which is along with the yoga, we have to understand yoga is not only physical. You all watch yoga on TV, maybe some of you do yoga, but yoga is not only that. Yoga means yujyate iti yoga, that which joins our divinity with the ultimate divinity. What we call as coming together of the Jivatma and Paramatma. In a small lecture, it would not be possible to dwell on all aspects, but I will try to do justice to this idea. So we can attain that union, we can attain to that oneness with our divine nature by doing our work in a spirit of unselfishness. Swami Vivekananda gave a series of talks on what is Karma Yoga. He gave it sometimes in 1895-96, and that's published as a book. It is called Karma Yoga. It's 8 lectures of Swamiji. The remarkable insights about life in that. There, Swamiji speaks of the impact of karma in character building. We all speak of character building these days. It has been so always that we have to learn to always take care of the type of character that we develop. But how is the character building done? He speaks of character building as coming out of whatever we act. So the action comes from thinking, or thinking which takes the shape of habits or samskaras, and then that becomes a sum total of all our habits or samskaras is called our character. So Swami Vivekananda speaks of that. He also speaks of that whatever we are is because of our past actions, and whatever we will be in the future will be due to our present actions. So Karma Yoga is the art of doing our action in such a way that on one side it helps us to develop our character. Secondly, it makes us efficient. We carry on our work meaningfully. And thirdly, it makes us grow spiritually. So when a person grows spiritually, what does it mean? He attains certain sense of inner stability. Samatvam yoga uchyate, says the Bhagavad Gita. Yoga, or the meaning of the ultimate form of yoga, is that it is samatvam. It's a sense of serenity. Now let me take an example. You all have read Ramayana, or at least have heard about the story of Bhagavan Ram. So Bhagwan Ram is tipped to become the prince and then the Raja. Rajya Abhisheka is to take place, and everything is set, and the whole city is celebrating the coronation ceremony. And then suddenly things take a different change. And instead of becoming the king, he has to go to the jungle on exile. Vanvas pe jayenge. That has been decided. So look at this change in events. And the Ramayana says he maintains the same calmness, same sense of cheerfulness in both the circumstances. So can we not learn something from that in our life? That's actually the state of Karma Yoga. That things may not go in your way, still you are very cheerful. You are calm. It doesn't mean that you don't try to set the things right. You do, but you try to make the best out of it and don't play the victim card. You don't say, oh, what to do? My karma, I fell into this kind of a situation. No, that's not the way of a strong man. So suppose one of us is to become the, let's say, vice chancellor of a university. One of you, I don't know who any one of you might. And suddenly you are to be made, you have to sign your papers next day. And on the previous day, suddenly an email comes, says, no, there's a wrong selection. You are not going to be the vice chancellor. Somebody else is going to be. So sorry. So think of it, what shock you might get. Similarly, there are so many other situations. Can we not learn? I think we should learn from Ramayana and this idea or the art of keeping the inner calmness in the midst of all circumstances. That is what Karma Yoga teaches us. Now, another thing, Swamiji said you can manifest your divinity also through psychic control. What is psychic control? By psychic control is meant that we learn to control our mind. Now, mind is such a thing. Mind is restless, and today's world, it is made more restless because of the fast technology that we have and the lifestyle that we have. We have to learn to make it more quiet. How do we do that? So we can speak of what is known as Raja Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. We first spoke of the Karma Yoga, work. Now we are speaking of the Raja Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, or what we call as the yoga of a kingly way of controlling the mind. So what is that? You all know about meditation. You have heard about meditation. So now meditation is widely practiced across the world. In America, for instance, there are some places where people go for meditation even on airports. And in India, in temples, in places of sacredness, you might find people sitting and meditating. So what is this meditation? Meditation is withdrawing the mind from whatever perceptions our senses get. Our eyes are seeing, for instance. Our ears are hearing. And we are not only seeing and hearing, or our senses are working otherwise also. We also have a deposit of those experiences within our mind. Those deposits are called samskaras. So when you close your eyes, when you try to focus, you will find your mind is very restless. So many thoughts are coming. Thoughts of what you were doing immediately before you closed your eyes, or what you are likely to do after you open the eyes. All those thoughts will be coming to you. So how do we make the mind calm? That's the point. So best thing is, first of all, keep certain moral virtues with you, like truthfulness, like purity of conduct, non-violence. These virtues are very important preparation for meditation. And once we have kept those virtues working in our life, then let us learn to sit every day for some time for meditation. Controlling the mind by withdrawing it from our outside world, so focusing it within ourselves. So first you close the eyes, you will see before you, like when some film is going on, film of your own life, film of events in which you are the hero, you are playing the main role. So as we go on watching it, slowly the mind somewhat calms down when you watch it in a very detached way. And finally, when the mind becomes sufficiently like a sense of comes a yes, you are just observing your mind, you are just seeing your things, then you can focus it within. You can think of your own divine nature. You can think of a burning lamp or the face of a god or goddess to focus on. So that is how with this practice, with this kind of internal practice, every day if you do for 5 to 10 minutes, you'll find some changes happening. So this is known as, in very, very short way, this is called the Dhyana Yoga or Raj Yoga. Then there is the Jnana Yoga. What is Jnana Yoga? It's not just you have more and more acquisition of knowledge. You also must know how to use that knowledge. So we acquire knowledge, but we often, it's just like having a gun in your hand, but you don't know what to do with the gun. If you hit the gun with a civilian, with an innocent person, you will be definitely punished under any penal code. But the same gun, if it is directed in a place where it is required, for instance, you are fighting in a war, and suddenly you become a hero. Oh, he fought very well. So it's not just knowledge, but the purpose of the knowledge that makes a difference. So according to Vedanta, according to Swami Vivekananda, knowledge is of two types. One is knowledge of the external world. You know computers, you know how to do recording, you know accounts, you know chemistry, physics, and history, and physics, and civics, and whatnot. There are hundreds of subjects. As many people, so many subjects. But this is called objective knowledge. There is another knowledge. There is knowledge of the self. Knowledge of our own self about, we have some self-knowledge. For instance, what we like, what we do, what our habits are, what time we get up. We have some knowledge about that. That's not sufficient. We have to go deeper. We have to understand what is our real nature. We said we are divine. What is that divinity? Are we not watching ourselves in all the three states of our life? For instance, three states means you're awake, that's one state. You're lying down and you're dreaming, that is one state. You are in deep sleep, there's another state. Now, who is that I who is observing all that? What is the nature of that I? What is that ego? What is that sense of observation? When you understand this in a deeper way, then you know your divine nature. This is called the Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga means knowledge of the self. So this is a one type. I spoke of Karma Yoga. I spoke of Jnana Yoga and this Jnana Yoga. There's one more. It is known as the Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means that we all of us have got emotions. If we can turn these emotions towards God, towards something higher, something which is pure and which is unending, we call him God, Bhagwan, or any other name we might give, then that emotion actually helps in transforming us. That is known as Bhakti Yoga, turning our devotion, our emotions to God. So many times people think spirituality or God or Bhakti means I go to God, I go to a mandir and I take some offerings, some flowers, some agarbattis and offer and say, oh Lord, please fulfill this desire of mine. Well, maybe you have your exams are coming, you go and pray, oh, please help me to fare good in my exams. So that is called a very, very preliminary stage of bhakti. When there's a kind of exchange, a transaction, I give this to God and God gives me that. That's not really the highest form of bhakti. So you have to go higher and higher, where there is no transaction. There is no asking something from God. It's just loving God because God is. And what He is our own being. We love as if our own being by loving God. In the Bhagavad Gita, it comes that in order to worship me, patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. You don't have to offer many things. Patram, which means leaves. Pushpam, that is flowers. And phalam, some fruit. And toyam, that is water. Simple things from the Prakriti, from the nature. We offer it to God in some measure in a very sacred way. That's called bhakti. And what do we want? We pray to God, oh Lord, give me purity of mind, give me strength of mind. May I walk on the right path. May I develop strength of character. That's called bhakti. That's what bhakti finally leads to. So these are the 4 yogas: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Swami Vivekananda said, we must try to combine these 4 yogas in our life and try to reach the very goal of our life, which is self-realization. What is that self-realization or self-knowledge? That all of us are essentially divine, essentially complete. We are not incomplete, we are complete. Swami Vivekananda quoted a verse when he went to Chicago. He quoted a verse. He said, Shunvantu Vishwe Amritasya Putraha. We are all children of immortality. Listen, you all. So this is what, in short, I would speak about spirituality. In our day-to-day life, we can practice this by developing our sense of concentration and sense of compassion. Then only we can really develop these qualities in us. In last, I would refer to one important teachings of Swami Vivekananda, that is service to mankind. He very much emphasized on that. He said we must have compassion and we must have unselfish service as part of our life. A person who has only gathered a heap full of degrees and a lot of knowledge along with that, but does not know how to use it for the good of others and how he can bring kindness to others, then his knowledge is very incomplete. He said that I hold every man a traitor who, having been educated at the cost of others, pays not the least heed to them. He also said that the vanities of life are transient. They alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. So let us not be dead, let us be alive, which means that we should not be just feeling for ourselves, but learn to feel for others. That is what true real spirituality takes us to. Atmano mokshartham jagat hitayacha, for our own inner spiritual growth and also for the good of others. This is the message of Swami Vivekananda. So thank you very much for your kind, patient hearing, and thank you to Dr. Gaurav and others for your invitation to share my thoughts on this platform. So I take leave. Namaste.
Dhanyavad Swamiji. Swamiji very well mentioned spiritual aspect of life during digital era, and also mentioned different types of yoga and shared various experiences of Swami Vivekananda ji. Dhanyavad Swamiji once again. Now I would like to invite our third speaker, Dr. Piyush Nayak, Associate Director HR, Analect, Gurugram. Over to you, Dr. Piyush.
Hi, good afternoon. First of all, let me set up my screen. I will just take a quick minute's time, right? Just a moment. Yes. This is... All right. Can you see this background, please? Very well. Okay. Just a moment. Actually, I'm a MS Teams guy, so not well aware of this Zoom. I'm so sorry about this for setting this up. It is just taking time. Let me share my screen quickly. Just yes, here it is. putting it as a slideshow. All right, so assuming everybody can view me well, right? Hello, am I audible to all of you?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
All right, fantastic. So first of all, my thanks to Gaurav, who has just been keep on pushing me during this, because I was just like keep on traveling due to various locations and everything, and I was down with was not keeping well. Although Gaurav pushed me a lot to speak something on this, and so I just make it a way, just share my belief what this topic is. Eventually, this topic is very interesting in terms of humanizing the workplace in this digital era. So before we start with this topic, so let me give you a quick introduction of mine. My name is Dr. Piyush Naik. I head the Talent Insights and Sourcing Early Careers Division at Analect India. So before we start with this presentation, let me give you a quick view of what this Analect India is all about. So we as Analect India are a part of largest advertising conglomerate in every way, whether it is the top of the brand we work with, scope of services, geographically dispersed agencies. So whatever we do, we are the leaders in that. Talking about Analect India. So Analect India is basically working as a talent hub capacity for Omnicom Media Group. So that's basically an Analect India and Omnicom Media Group company. So what this Omnicom Media Group do? So talking about Omnicom, which basically reinforces the global brand that the candidate should be potentially associated with. So points to highlight here. We started in the year 1986, and Omnicom has been the leader in advertising and media world. So currently we are holding a strength of 70,000 employees across different parts of the world. We are showing our presence in 70 plus countries, holding 5,000 plus clients. We are an advertising conglomerate with 1,500 plus agencies, which includes a tableau of very known industries in this on this globe. So this is DDB, BBDO. These names sounds odd to you, but yes, you can simply search it on the Google and you will got to know what kind of nexus they have been into this advertising conglomerate. So TBWA, Hearts and Science, OMD, PhD. Basically, what we do is from Apple to Audi, we work with every top brands of the world, right? So we have been in the forefront in shifts from traditional to digital advertising. We continue to lead the future of this sector, and being a fully integrated agency is our USP. USP in the sense that this is what differentiates us from the different competitors. All right, so let me come on to the next aspects of what we need to talk about on this topic, humanizing the workplace in digital era. And before we start with this presentation, I really wanted to let you know that we have been hiring a lot. We have been hiring a lot. So kindly visit our page, Analect India. Apply whatever the positions are there, because I'm advertising my company at this moment. Right now, we have a strength of 1,950 employees across India. And we do have the target to make it to 3,200 by December 23. And by December 24, we will be reaching the size of 5,000 employees. All right, so moving on to the next part of this, presentation. Okay, so what we need to do is we have to restructure work around human needs. Obviously, there is no automation, no innovation, no radiation can cover the humanizing part, frankly speaking. So whatever a human can do, he can do, and no AI, no AML can touch base with these pointers on a very hygiene side. So whatever you need to do, you have to take care of the aspects of the human needs, what they need is. And for this part, what we have to work on is basically the purposeful culture. Purposeful culture, why I am coming on to this point, at a time of crisis, it is helpful when everyone can share a meaningful purpose. We from the last 2.5 years, we have been through a lot. Wave 1, wave 2, and they have internally forced us to re-engineer the processes of the business continuity. I'm talking about the particularly transformation, which is basically the VCP, how we can continue the business in these tough times. So we have learned a lot. So we have re-engineered the process, but eventually this starts with purposeful culture, right? So we must revisit our purpose and make sure everyone understands it. It forms the basis of the corporate culture, basically. All right, so coming on to the next point, that's intentional communication. Intentional communication is basically humans crave warm, friendly, easy to absorb communication, yet most corporate communication departments think those are signs of weakness, but it is not. Humanize contact through informality, casual language, and above all, video, showing that senior leaders are human to driving engagement and empathy. You have to be very much empathetic across overall while building the culture, while communicating to your employees, while having this mutual trust factor in place. So yes, we have to keep these factors, that you have to be empathetic at each and every step, whatever you have been restructuring across. All right. Third point is the mutual trust. Yes, leaders must restore the trust that has too all often been crushed out of the workplace. Managers are stressed that remote workers are not performing well. So some same workers are stressed by overwork. They have been drained out. So just to demonstrate that engagement, managers must earn the trust of their employees, what we can do the best, how we can make it to a point where the trust of these employees have been on the higher side, which eventually make the productivity on the higher side. So there is no part of mutual trust that can be attained by means of this humanizing the culture. Moving on to the next part, I will not take so much of your time because I know that you guys must have been drained through all these presentations. And again, there is a presentation, so I have kept it very simple and plain, right? So refresh your double E. Refreshing your double E means that we have to refresh our employee experience. What we have to do is, so we have to search first. Use search to bring the information and the services to the users. And in our private lives, so we turn to Google and YouTube to discover services and to learn, enterprise IT needs to adopt the same paradigm, surfacing services like via search playlist and curated content, and especially video. Remove or hide the old departmental silos. So that's whatever you need to do, we have to research it first of all. Keep it social. Social in terms of connecting people is fundamentally has always been a good thing. And to building the community of trust, and social tools are core to that. In our providing the employee experience, just to give you a quick example on this. So we are internally using the Darwin box. And we have created a page on a Darwin box, just like a wall, where employee can put up their, related to their work, related to the personal thing, related to the family affair, whatever they need to keep it posted. That's like a Facebook wall. So Darwin box, we made a capability index in the Darwin box where an employee can come and wish this thing in place. And that's critically what we have done, is to create a social kind of environment within that pace as well. So Darwin box is a tool where employee can check the information, all announcements has been done by there, all recruitments has been done by there, employees can download their pay slip. So basically it's a HRIS system. in place. So I'm just briefing it by means of an example, what we are keeping here in Analect India. All right, so radically simplicity, there is no alternate to simplicity. So let's keep it very simple and plain. It sometimes seems that the department revel its complexity, they keep on layering the complex, and it's time to radical makeover of these systems, ditching those that are no longer fit into the organizations. And they are not holding any simple purpose to it. Moving on to a user-centric system in terms of that embarrass to the trends list here, it's the time for a truly digital workplace. Eliminate all those tools which are not at all useful, because if we talk about the tools and everything, there are simply AI tools available. They are very smart. They can sense out the pulse. They can sense out how the employee has been feeling during the work. So they can extract the information while keeping you posted. For example, whatever the kind of email you have been writing to your colleague or to your senior, they can extract. We have built up this function. The capability is like that. Whatever the function is going around, they will extract the information, how the employee has been feeling. And this has been converted into a portal where we can have a pulse for each and every employee about their feeling, about the work, about the workplace, about the manager, about the colleague. So it's like that. So just keeping it simple and plain, no more lecture on this, right? Thank you so much. And you can ask me questions on this, please.
Thank you, Dr. Piyush. Dr. Piyush nicely covered various aspects of restructuring work as per the human needs, and E, that is employee experience.
Yes.
Now the session is open for question and answering. Yes, if you have any question, participants, you can write on Q&A box.
I'm just stop sharing now, please. Sorry.
I think there is no question.
They have been very exhausted throughout the day.
Yeah. So I request my colleague Dr. T.K. Mandal for concluding remark. Dr. Mandal, over to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think we had a fantastic session in plenary 2 with 3 very distinguished speakers, who enlightened us on the topic of the conference of the summit on humanizing workplace from 3 different angles. In fact, it was very engrossing. First, when we heard Amita, she gave her perspective. I'll come to that. Then we had a very a session which was deep rooted into Indian spirituality and Indian thoughts from the philosophies of Ramakrishna Paramhans and Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda, and Swami Atma Shuddhanandji took us to the memory lanes, of those days when Vivekananda got influenced by Ramakrishna and then conquered the world. And he gave a particular dimension, and his talk was focused largely on spirituality from the perspective of humanizing or humanity. And lastly, we heard Dr. Piyush Naik, and it is very interesting to understand and note, these points of view of restructuring workforce and human needs and things like that, and also knowing about his organization. See, when we talk about humanizing workplace, normally people tend to talk in HR language. I'm not talking in the context of the topic in the context of organization. So we take the HR route to explain what is humanizing and humanizing of workplace and so on and so forth. And to that extent, I think Amita focused on the various processes, touched upon recruitment and selection, etc., etc. I think I'll revisit the point which she fundamentally raised is do we really need to humanize workplace? There would definitely be an answer, yes, but to what extent? That's the next question. And there lies the million dollar question as to which part of organizational working should be humanized. Remember, I think this point was it came up very well during the conversations of with the speakers or deliberations of the speakers that humanizing would not necessarily make an organization effective. Okay, so therefore we need to deep dive and find out which part of working of the organization should be humanized. We have, for example, she gave the example of recruitment. I go back to that example of recruitment. Now, there are a lot of automated processes. In fact, semi-artificial intelligence applications also in screening applications. Dr. Nayak handling a large number of applications, so he would be vouching for
Yes,
it.
yes, very much. Correct.
So
Correct,
there
sir.
are such kind of applications, and they do replace tremendous amount of human efforts, which are otherwise wasteful. So why do we need humanizing in this particular activity or this particular work? Yes, we have seen, this has opened our eyes when it comes to selection of an individual, particularly when you interact with an individual. The deficiencies, even in online interaction, which is to some extent face to face. Yes, online, but then face to face. I can see Dr. Nayak, I can see Amita, I can see other colleagues of mine. So we can see, but then still it does not suffice, or it does not substitute a person to person physical face to face interaction. And we know the differences and we realize the differences. So it's a huge question. There are other areas also. For example, she spoke about performance management system. In one of the automation interventions of performance management system, we encountered this issue. The question was asked, do you want to replace human involvement? This thing apart, keeping the performance information, performance data apart. Even in goal setting or setting expectations from employees, we all know that participation of the employees of utmost importance. So it starts there. So the participation cannot happen without humanizing that part of work.
Correct.
So it starts there. The flow process can be automated, and there need not be any humanizing aspect in the flow process, workflow process. But then when it comes to, for example, reviews, which again Amita spoke about, we can't think about a review, a meaningful review, performance review, without human touch. So these questions, I am sure one would face in every step of an organization's working, and I think the right question as far as the humanizing workplace is concerned to ask would be where and when. I leave it there because I think we heard the distinguished speakers very well. We also have seen, or we also have noted that as far as humanizing is concerned, what do you understand by humanizing? We by dictionary meaning, I just noted down from somewhere, it says that to represent as human. That means anything, if you want to humanize, it should represent as a human. Now, when we say something representing as human, would also automatically mean it acquires the qualities of a human being. Now, if it acquires the qualities of a human being, we all again know that human beings are prone to qualities which are good as well as which are weaknesses. which are shortcomings. Okay. Now, we need to keep this in mind when we speak about humanizing. So let's take the example of, let's say, performance review. If we are talking about humanizing performance review, there would definitely be shortcomings. So whenever we talk about humanizing, we must also answer this question of taking care of the shortcomings in the humanizing process. Otherwise, I think the entire aspect or entire exercise will be futile, and it will be just for the namesake of humanizing. So great. I think I must extend personal gratitude and thanks to three speakers, Amita, Dr. Naik, and Swamiji, for enlightening us and sparing the time.
Thank you so much.
Sure, this has helped. It has definitely helped me, and it has helped all the participants as well. And we would have more occasions to have interact, maybe in a more humanized way. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think there is some questions in Q&A section. The first question is already answered by Swamiji. The question is from Vikas Sharma. Don't you think, sir, that AI is misleading human emotions in a wrong direction? And one question, one question is from the anonymous attendee. How do you maintain focus while
This is from Vikas Sharma. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can answer.
Yes. So if I talk about that AI is misleading human emotions, see, there is, if we talk about the human emotions, that's a different aspect what you have been, not this way, like AI moves in a way in two types, like supervised and unsupervised, right? So supervised is what we have feed up to give us those responses, as an unsupervised which has not been feed up, and although we will get the normal reactions to it, what has been perpetuated at that point of time, keeping the view in terms of the human emotions. This is not like that this AI has been misleading human emotions or something, but AI is really very helpful in certain ways. Recently, if I talk about ChatGPT, this has been really helping us in terms of getting sorted many processes, many SOPs, frankly speaking, where we have not misleaded by any kind of emotions of ChatGPT. And at the same point of time, we have Microsoft GPT, we have Bard.ai from Google. So these are the fantastic tools. Emotions are like everywhere. So what AI has to do? So I'm not so clear about a kind of question what you would like to get this answered. So Vikas, if you can unmute yourself and just let me know if I'm able to answer this question on your behalf, or like how do you want to re-question it to me again, if you are available there. Vikas, please. I think Vikas may not be available, or like
yeah, I think Vikas is not available.
Sir, he's not panelist, he's attendee, so he will type in the text.
All right. So second question is, how do you maintain focus while socializing in workplace? It is always good to be in your socialize to a limit where you're not here to socialize with your college friends or mates or something like that. There is a difference between the college scenario and the workplace. At the workplace, this has been a place where somebody likes you, somebody doesn't like you, and you have not been liked by people. And of course, we are not there to sell the ice cream that everybody would like you a lot, and they have been seeking Piyush for every kind of work or something. Yes, maintain it, restrict it to a level, and do not get personalized and socialize with everyone at the workplace. That's what my experience says. You socialize, but in a very professional manner. That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Amita, you want to comment?
Yeah, Dr. Anand, I would like to question on the, comment on the second question. Very interesting, which how do you maintain focus while, socializing in workplace? So yeah, there are certain times if you have work, in office, obviously you're going to be focused. And if you love your work, I'm sure you'll be focused. And of course, there are certain times and, zones where you can socialize with your colleagues, during your lunchtime, etc. So I don't know, this is little funny question for me, but
Yeah.
yes, you have certain, in a workplace you have of course certain zones which are defined to socialize. Of course you cannot socialize the entire day, so yeah. This question has come from a student, is it?
Yes, it's anonymous. Okay, once again, thanks to all the speakers and participants. Yes, over to Dr. Sheetal for further proceedings.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we have come to the end of the session, and it was really very interesting session for me indeed. I learned. Thank you so much, Amita ma'am, for sharing success mantra of your life with us. It is always good to listen such a good speaker. Swami Atma Shraddhanandji shared very fruitful thoughts on the spirituality and role of spiritualities in our life. And thank you so much, sir, Dr. Piyush Naik sir, for sharing such a short and smart message with us. Such a short, you kept your PPT, but it was really very interesting for all of us. So we are moving towards the end of the session, but knowledge is power and journey of knowledge never ends. But here it is my humble duty right now to express words of thanks to all the speakers, Amita Nijavan ma'am, Swami Atma Shraddhanandji, and Dr. Piyush Nayak. Thank you so much once again for sharing your valuable time from your chock-a-block schedule and being with us, enriching with us with your expertise. Thank you so much. I am grateful to Dr. Nandan Rajawat sir and Dr. T.K. Mandal. Last but definitely, thank you so much, audience, for your patience listening. We are ending with this session, but we are soon starting with validatory session. So I request all the audience, please be here only. Thank you.
Okay, we'll be starting with the plenary session now. Closing remarks.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. On behalf of Sri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, I, Dr. Shweta Mishra, welcome you all to the closing ceremony of Udaan 2023, an online HR summit on humanizing workplace in the digital era. The coronavirus crisis imposed on companies and people a new way of organizing themselves. The digitization of work was already a growing reality, and with the pandemic, the tendency is to increase. Today, it is said that the world will not be as it was before, both in terms of safety protocols and changes in the workplace. When working remotely, technology has been the basis, or at least the platform, of almost all work interactions. In addition to the digitization of work that has been underway for some time, emails, internet, cell phone messages, business apps, now even the meetings are held remotely. But human relations, how are they? As the manager, how to enhance our team's capacity? Do we use technology as an element to improve our team, or is it an end itself? These are the questions that we do not intend to answer. Definitely, to find the answers, this HR Summit was organized. To know more, I invite Dr. Gaurav Srivastav, who coordinated Udaan 2023, to present a summary and observations of the summit.
Thank you, ma'am. The inaugural session of the 5th HR Summit Udaan started with the lighting of lamp and remembering Goddess Saraswati. The summit started with the introduction of this year's summit's theme, that is humanizing workplace in the digital era, where Mr. Mahendra Pratap Singh sir, coordinator Udaan, emphasized how digital workplaces are impacting the workforce and how with the help of technology, the workforces can be connected in the digital age. After his speech, the presidential address was delivered by Dr. Bhupinder Dhar, Vice Chancellor SWB. where he explained beautifully the difference between Industry 4 and Industry 5. He further added, Industry 4 was all about technology, but Industry 5 is all about focus on humanization. Sir also explained how the companies can connect to people in today's digital working places. He talked about empowering digital collaboration, how to make digital workplace more personal, and how digital collaboration can make work environment more conducive. After Sir's address, the chief guest of the summit, Mr. Jaimin Bhuttani, CEO of Plus Solutions Ahmedabad, talked about various technological tools which they are using at Uplus to collaborate with remote working forces. He emphasized on the importance of integrated technology solutions which can emotionally connect with the workforces. The inaugural session was closed with the word of thanks. The summit continued with the first plenary session thereafter. The chairperson for the first plenary session were Dr. Santosh Dhar, Rector and Dean SVV, co-chairperson Dr. Namit Gupta, Dean Engineering SVV Indore, and the moderator of plenary session one was Dr. Shilpa Fadnis, Associate Professor SVV, who introduced all the guests. The plenary session one started by the opening remarks of Dr. Santosh Dhar, where she talked about the role of technology in today's workplaces in context with the employees. The first speaker in plenary session one was Ms. Silpi Singh, Head Project Management, Piramal Group, where she talked about the side effects of digital era and how it is impacting the mental health of employees. She told that humanizing workplaces starts with acknowledging the people you work with, do business with. She also talked about the steps, methods which should be taken in industry for right digital connect with people. The second speaker, Mr. Gautam Tungare, Head HR, 6 Degrees IT Indore, and he talked about treating the employees as humans, not as objects. And he also talked about various creative strategies which they have adopted at 6 Degrees IT pertaining to HR. The third speaker of the day was Ms. Monica Sharma, Head HR, Build Formula Ahmedabad, who talked about employee empowerment and correct digital transformation. The concluding remarks of plenary session one were given by Dr. Namit Gupta, where he reiterated and briefed about the key points of all the speakers. Continuing further to the summit, the second plenary session started, where the chairperson was Dr. Anand Rajawat, Dean Academics SVV, and co-chairperson Dr. T.K. Mandal, Professor SVSM SVV Indore were present. The moderator to this session was Dr. Sheetal Jain, Assistant Professor SVV, where she started and she introduced all the guests. The session started with the opening remarks by Dr. Anand Rajawat. The first speaker in the second plenary session was Ms. Amita Nijwan, DGM HR of Royal Realty Mumbai, where she talked about the importance of leveraging the right technological tools to connect with workforce. The technological tools should connect, support, and empower the workforce was her key message. The second speaker, Swami Atma Shraddhanand Ji from Ramakrishna Mission Kanpur, emphasized about the key message that every man is divine and every human being is divine in nature, and the divinity of every human being can be manifested by karma yoga, mind control techniques such as Dhyana yoga. It was very fascinating to listen to him. The last speaker of the second plenary session was Dr. Piyush Nayak, Associate Director, Talent Insights, Sourcing and Early Careers Analyst, talked about how employee experiences can be enhanced with the help of technology and how the redundant technological tools should be eliminated. The concluding remarks were given by Dr. T.K. Mandal. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Epitome of Knowledge and Wisdom, our visionary Vice Chancellor, Honorable Dr. Upinder Dhar, to give the closing remarks.
First of all, good evening to all of you. As we know, anything that begins has to come to an end. But then every end is an indicator of new beginnings. We make efforts, we plan for something that is going to happen afresh. As I said in the morning, this theme is very apt. And as we are moving from Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0, humanization is a very important and differentiating factor. We have heard very knowledgeable speakers today, and particularly those who are from practice, those who are practitioners. They have also shared their thoughts. And if we take the crux of all, everyone agrees that we are better connected today because of the technology. You see, what was not possible earlier when technology was not this much advanced, that is happening today. With the result, physical distance has become irrelevant. So we can talk to each other, we can communicate with each other, irrespective of the distance. Simultaneously, even say if we take the example of this webinar, somebody is speaking from Bombay, somebody is speaking from Chennai, somebody is speaking from Nainital, somebody is speaking from Delhi, and so on. So all of us are connected and effectively communicating with each other. So this is the contribution of technology. Therefore, technology cannot be ignored, and it will continue to advance. But we have to learn to adapt to it and see how we can use it for enhancing the quality of life, and not only overall quality of life, but in each domain of life. Say work domain. When we are talking about workplace, technology has a role. As we can see, particularly COVID, although COVID was very devastating across the world, it has done a lot of damage. But at the same time, it has taught us certain lessons. One of the lessons is to use technology, how to use technology. Even those who were not using laptop earlier before COVID became used to using laptops and other devices. Many things were learned through trial and error, because during COVID, there was nobody to teach, nobody to train. So one had to learn through trial and error only. At the same time, say we have a new phenomenon today, that is work from home. Work from home at the same time has its own drawbacks, because people may be performing multiple roles while working from home. And those roles may be precipitator for the inter-role distance stress. That means stress may arise because of the distance between various roles, because they may be unrelated. Say, serving a family member, or having conversation with a family member, or attending to the needs of a family member may be different from what my organization expects from me. But I have to perform both while working at home, working from home. So these roles being distant from each other. So this kind of inter-role distance gives rise to stress. So it has its own drawbacks. Although many organizations have formalized this system of working, that many people, they have identified people who will be working from and working from home, and those who will be working from the premises of the organization. Well, the main issue is that the interface, ultimately, technology per se. See, it has to come. No one can ignore, no one can say, no, we will not use technology from tomorrow. That is not going to happen. Technology, we will be using more and more of technology tomorrow. And technology in the past, what we used to assume has come into reality. For example, when I was a child, those days we used to say that one day will come and there will be a telephone, and people who are talking, who will be talking to each other, can see each other. And today it's a reality. Today we can have Zoom meetings and so on. We talk to each other and so on. But those days it was an assumption that one day it may happen. Similarly, there were certain thoughts that, well, this will happen, that will happen, but it was not a reality that time. But now we are seeing that many things are happening because of the technology. So therefore, technology has to be there, and technology will remain there. But then what is the objective of having this technology? Major objective is to enhance the quality of life, make things easier, but at the same time, the interface between technology and human being has to be friendly. It has to be more realistic in the sense that they can be complementary in a way. So technology has to be complementary. And here, when we are talking about Industry 5.0, that's what we are saying. Technology needs to be advanced. It has to advance, but then feedback of the user is very important, which was not happening in the case of Industry 4.0. In the case of Industry 4.0, we would have technology, one technology after another technology. So it was more of a technology era. But then today, when we are talking of Industry 5.0, user feedback has become important. So technology has to advance, but keeping in view the user experience so that we can effectively use technology. As one of the speakers said that, well, whatever technology we are using today, we are able to see each other and so on. But at the same time, behind all this, there's a human being. Ultimately, we are human beings. We can see each other. We can talk to each other. We can understand what other person is saying. But we can even feel to a great extent. But at the same time, the personal touch, the human touch, may not be in the sense what we used to believe in earlier. Therefore, during the times to come, we have to have more interface with technology, which will be user-friendly. Technology will be modified. Technology will be advanced as per the needs of the human being. It is not that human being will be replaced by technology. That will not happen. That will never happen. But then we have to live together to make things better. And I'm sure that all of us who have attended this webinar today, this HR summit today, must be feeling that some gain has happened during this one-day program. And in future, we will continue to do that so that we can enlighten each other, learn from each other, at the same time make things better in this world. So we must hope for a better world to live in, and that is possible while using technology appropriately and effectively. So with these words, thank you very much, and let us prepare for the HR Summit 2023-24, the next summit. It is not necessary that we should have HR Summit once only in a year. We can have even twice. So that I leave to Mr. Pawar, so that we can have more interface, more interaction with the people from different fields of life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We will do that.
You rightly said in Industry 5.0, user feedback is important, and the interface between human beings and technology should be friendly. And another point is human touch is very much needed. With these words, thank you very much, sir. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Mahendra Pratap Singh Pawar, Coordinator Udaan 2023 and Director Corporate Relations and Placement Division SVV, to propose words of thanks.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Oh. I'm sure everyone present today must have become enriched with the knowledge of humanizing workplace in the digital era. On behalf of SVV and HR Summit team, I wish to thank our chief guest, Mr. Jamin Bhuttani, CEO of Plus Solutions, for accepting our invitation and finding out time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion. My sincere thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Upendra Dhar for his constant motivation, support, and guidance in organizing the HR Summit. My sincere thanks to all the speakers, Ms. Shilpi Singh, Ms. Monica Sharma, Mr. Gautam Tungare, Ms. Amita Nijavan, Dr. Piyush Nayak, and Swami Atma Shraddhanandji for taking out time and sharing their knowledge and expertise in the field with all of us. They share their expert knowledge as they themselves are going through these challenges. I once again thank all our speakers and look forward to their gracious presence in the next HR Summit. My sincere thanks to all the chairpersons, Dr. Santosh Dhar, Dr. Namit Gupta, Dr. Anand Rajawat, and Dr. T.K. Mandal of both the plenary sessions, who graciously conducted both the sessions with their expertise and knowledge. My sincere thanks to Dr. Gaurav Srivastav, co-coordinator, Udaan 2023, for his hard work and support. My special thanks to Dr. Rupa Shinde Madam and her team, Dr. Shilpa Fadnis, Dr. Sheetal Jain, Dr. Sweta Mishra, Dr. Manish Joshi, Dr. Vikas Sharma, and Mr. Sandeep Jain for flawlessly managing the entire summit. My special thanks also to Dr. Anand Rajawat and his technical team, especially Mr. Sadab Sheikh, Mr. Shrikant Telan, and team for support and execution of entire HR summit. I thank all the guests from the corporate world who took out time to attend this summit. Without their presence and interaction, this summit would not have been successful. I look forward to their gracious presence in the next HR summit. I thank all the students for attending this HR summit. I am sure they would have enhanced the knowledge of the subject. They made this HR summit a great success. My sincere thanks to all the team members of HR Summit, especially Dr. Lishu Roy, who worked tirelessly and made this event possible. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. A good event never ends in the world. They take only a pause and keep us awaiting for the next. With these words, I request all of you to rise for the national anthem and request the technical team to play the same.
गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Bharat Mata ki Jai. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mandal, sir. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam.
Okay, sir.
Okay, bye.
चैट बॉक्स में क्वेश्चंस आए थे कि क्या था?